Hello, hello, all my friends. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to everyone that is in the chat, and welcome to everyone that will watch the replay later on. My name is Kelley, and I work for Honeybee Stamps, and I'm so excited to be here this evening, bringing you some winter shimmery goodness. We're going to play with one of our brand new embossing folders tonight. That is the Snowflakes, the really pretty 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to use some older dies with the Snowflakes embossing folder, and then a new sentiment and our lovely layer snowflakes to add some little embellishments on there. But we're going to get started tonight. I'm going to do some ink blending and then use that embossing folder, and we're just going to create a really pretty card. So hello Terry and Rachel, Sue, Gretchen, hello all my friends in the chat. It's so good to see you. Hey Lori. Okay, I'm going to go down to my desk view now, and we're going to get started ink blending. Now I mentioned that I was going to be using some of our old dies. These are our stacking Art Deco label dies. They come like this, all of these stacking dies. And what I'm going to do is create an ink blended background. I wanted a kind of central little framed area. And then after I do my ink blending here, I'm going to use that embossing folder to emboss this kind of frame that I have going on with all those beautiful snowflakes. So I'm going to get started with some ink blending, and this card is going to be very wintry. So if you like to make winter cards, or you have a winter birthday, or even let's see, maybe New Year's cards, something like that, this would be a good one to recreate. So I'm going to start out with Tumbled Glass, and I'm going to go from kind of in a diagonal from light to dark. I'm also going to pull in some of our brand new pattern paper inside the little window that I'm creating. And I'm just going to do some messy ink blending because we're going to emboss this. You know, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect or absolutely smooth or anything like that. But I'm going to ink blend over this Nina cardstock. This is 110-pound cardstock, and I'm going to get, you know, kind of an area here of that tumbled glass, and then I'm going to kind of work and fade my way down into a darker color. I'm going to go into Stormy Sky, which is kind of a more dusty blue. It's going to be really pretty when we get it all, and I've got fuzzies here, when we get it all ink blended onto our Art Deco kind of frame that we're putting together. So I'm going to go over there and a little bit up in here and blend that into the tumbled glass. Kind of blend that in there, blend it down so it kind of blends in, fades into the darker shade that we're going to add here in just a minute. And I can even go back in and kind of lighten this up if I want to do that later on. And then I'm going to pull in my darkest shade, which is the chipped sapphire, really, really super deep blue. Let's see, which was this blue? Okay, so far, the lighter color is Tumbled Glass. And so it's going to give us the light blue, almost kind of a turquoisey, icy blue. And then the center color is Stormy Sky, which is a little more dusty, but I think it's going to play well together when we get everything done. And then the very last one that you can see here is super dark and rich, is Chipped Sapphire. And I'm going to go really super juicy and heavy-handed right down here in this corner, and then blend that up into that more dusty blue of the Stormy Sky. So I'm just going to keep kind of working my way around here and blending that up as we go here. And then I'll fiddle with it just for a second. Let's pull back in the lightest shade of the Tumbled Glass and pull it back down just a little bit here. And that's what's so nice about the oxide inks, is see how now I've kind of lightened that out a bit. And I can blend that back down right over in here. You can kind of fuss with it and play with it a little bit until you get your blend. And this is my brush for that Stormy Sky. So I didn't dip back in, but I'm just taking the brush, just kind of smoothing everything out. I'm pretty happy with this. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. I am going to take my distress sprayer. So this just has water in it, and I'm going to give it just kind of a little mist over just like that. And it's going to do a couple of different things. One, you're seeing it do its oxidation thing to where it's kind of pulling up and making those little oxidized spots that we all like. So it's going to do that, but it's also going to help when I run this through my die machine with our embossing folder. It's really going to give a really nice press to the paper, and it's going to make it where that paper doesn't kind of crack and bend. Okay, now when I put this through, I'm making sure that the embossed area, so the raised areas of my snowflakes, I want those pointed up because I want those to be pop out of the design. And so I'm just going to place this in here. And I'm going to kind of get it set in. If you wanted to add, a little bit of Easy C tape or whatever low tack tape you like to hold things down, you could put it in there, but it's going to be okay. But you can see here now to where we're going to get some of these little snowflakes, or in the larger ones especially, where we're going to get those little points and the little pieces just here and there on our pretty frame. Okay, so I'm going to step aside. I'm going to run this through my die machine really quick. And then we're going to move on with the next part of our card. So let's get that embossing folder through there. And then I'll wait until I come all the way back over here onto my desk. Let's take up my inky mess that I have here. Before we do like the magic reveal here, let's move my inks out of the way and let's open this up. And do you see what we have now, where we've got all those pretty snowflakes just kind of popping out there? Now I'm going to take my little die pick and just kind of gently remove that. And you can see, let me hold it up here in the light, and you can see all those beautiful snowflakes, pressed into the paper of my frame. Okay, now if that wasn't enough, we're going to add some of our silver ink to this. And I'm going to pull out just my little mini media mat for this. And I've got a brush that is dedicated to, it looks black, but it's actually our metallic silver ink. And I'm going to get my brush really nice and juicy. And I'm barely going to hit or kiss those little brush bristles onto the raised area of those snowflakes. So I'm just going to gently take my brush, and I'm barely adding any pressure here. But as I do this, you're going to start to notice that shimmer pick up on all those little raised areas where that embossing folder has pressed it into the paper. So I'm just gently going to twirl those little bristles back and forth. I want to keep my brush pretty juicy and just hit all the little raised snowflake little parts and pieces with that shimmery ink. And then see if I raise this up, let's take a look here, and I'm going to tilt it in the light, and it gives us this like metallic-y silver, very classy kind of looking metallic look on there with that silver ink. Okay, now before I move on, anytime you use an opaque ink like our brilliant white or the gold or the silver, you do want to heat it up or set it with your heat tool. Let me get mine. Mine is unplugged for some reason. There's no telling why. let's get that going here. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go over that ink, and it's going to set the oxide ink that's underneath. It's going to help set that metallic silver. Let me go over that pretty well. Help that do its thing, and I'm going to flip it over. Even the back side of that is beautiful when it's pressed in the other way. So you really could use those embossing folders and use them either direction. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Really pretty, really wintry. Okay, so let me show you what I have so far. So I have a white card base, easy peasy. And I have another little piece of paper that was cut with those same little Art Deco dies. And I am going to make, instead of making my layers like so, and, you know, layer lots of paper on the top, I'm going to make a little inset frame. If I can hold it up here for you. And it's going to be inset, but underneath. So you can see we're going to have a beautiful white, like matting or little layered frame look underneath. You can see where I love how it's kind of cut off all of our snowflakes here. And it looks like they're just kind of peeking out from the frame there. And then what's going to go on the underside of our white frame, this is some of our new pattern paper. And we really wanted a lot of paper in there for you to have, you know, be able to do your snowflake die cuts or whatever you wanted to do. But there's lots of pretty, like, icy, wintry looking paper in the, let me get it, Winter Wonder paper pad. So this is the really wintry blues, really pretty, that goes with all of our snowflake things, the paper. And I have chosen, let me pull it out here. I have chosen the sheet of paper that's right down here. So it's got kind of that watercolory, wintry look. But there's everything from like ice fractals. Do you see where that almost looks like a mountain of ice or a sheet of ice? And then we've got really pretty icy trees, icy pines. So lots of really pretty paper. I wanted one that would be really pretty on the inset of our frame here, that's going to kind of make a little backdrop, but not really take away from our embossed paper that we have on the outside. So that's why I chose this kind of blue, icy, watercolory look. So I'm going to start putting together all of our little pieces here, and I'm going to glue these two flat to one another just with my liquid adhesive. I've cut this a little bit smaller, as you'll see, just so when the recipient gets the card, you're not going to see it kind of poke out from the edges, you know, if I didn't cut it just right or whatever. So I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid adhesive right around the edges, and it's almost time for a new glue tube. And while I'm doing my glue here, I'm going to look up, I always need to test the sandwiching of my embossing folders before they run through. They seem to have different thicknesses. You know, I've heard that as, let's see, who is that? Connie mentioned that in her comment. I have, since taking over customer care for Honeybee Stamps, I've heard a lot of different people. And, you know, in the last few years, technology has changed when it comes to our supplies and our embossing folders and die machines and things like that, right? So let's see if I boo-booed this. Here I'm talking. Here, let's do this. Okay. I'm going to totally change this up. But I'll keep talking as we go. So I'm going to wipe down my boo-boo of the glue. Connie mentioned different sandwiches. The best thing that I have heard that is working for everybody is there's a new plate system from Spellbinders, I believe, that's called like the universal plates. Now, I have not tried this, but I hear that universal plate system is working with a lot of all of us crafters' older die machines. So let's say that you have like a Big Shot or something like that, that some of the new embossing folders are not working in, or like what was the other one? Like a Vagabond or something like that. I hear that universal plate system works wonders for all the new embossing folders. And so I don't know if that's what you guys are talking about in the comments, but I looked up and saw that and thought that I would just offer in that little bit of information. So, okay. So now I've got my little inset frame all glued down underneath. And now with this part, I'm going to actually pop this up on our watercolor paper. Let's see here. Have you used rubber bands to hold together? Okay, what is happening? What is happening with your embossing folders? Maybe I can help. Oh, see, you guys are so nice. Yeah, and every machine is different. And so it's hard, you know, when people write into customer service or, you know, something like that, and they're having trouble. And, you know, like I said, that technology has changed, which is awesome for our embossing folders because they get even more detailed and things like that. We just have to work out all the little kinks as crafters, right? Of, you know, how we can make all of our new supplies work for us in our craft room. And so, you know, I always try to ask around and figure out, and that's kind of what I have heard about the universal plate system. But I'm sure the ladies and gentlemen in the comments will be able to help you out as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop that right down on there and then give that foam tape that's going to raise that up just a little bit, and you're going to be able to see just a little bit of dimension there underneath. And then I can add this to a white card base. So I'm going to add it just like that. And let's get going here. Let's see here. I've tried rubber bands. Machines are different and folders are different with other companies. Yes, a little bit. You should be able, let's see, I still have an old crank big kick and it works fine with everything. Yeah, you've got to play with them. But if that was Beth, maybe you should write in to me at customer care and I can help you out too. I have a Big Shot hand crank die cut. I have a Big Shot. I use the Sizzix base to do the Sizzix 3D. I use Spellbinders universal plates. Yes. It's a pain. I have to use it to do the Spellbinders. I've heard that with some of our embossing folders too, that the universal plate system works best for all the really nice 3D embossing folders. So I don't know if that's a help or what, but we'll try to help you out here. Okay, so now I've just got that popped and glued onto a white card base, easy peasy, and I'm going to let all of that set up. Now I have to add something in the center, right? Now this is the biggest snowflake from our Lovely Layers large snowflakes die set, and I cut it again out of that Spellbinders glittery foam. It looks like I need to pop out some of my centers here, but that, and I'm going to nest that, you know, just kind of, it's going to nestle right down in there like so. And so my big glittery dimensional snowflake is going to kind of be the star of the card here, along with all of our pretty snowflakes that we have on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of just liquid adhesive to this here. Just a little dab here and there. And on some of these little snowflake arms that we've got. And I'm going to kind of gently just nestle that right down into my little inset frame area. I'm going to kind of set it down, make sure all the little snowflake arms are all nice and straight here before that adhesive has time to set up. Okay, so here we go. That's pretty in there. I like that. Let's kind of see if I can kind of move him around a little bit. All right, now all we need to do is add a pretty sentiment now. So I'm going to add the Let It Snow sentiment, and that comes from the Let It Snow stamp set. So we have this really big, beautiful snowflake stamp set, and we have the Let It Snow. I'm just going to use the simple Let It Snow. And I have, you can see here, I'm using all my scrap paper here. I've got one of those cutouts from the center of my little window, and I'm going to stamp that in, I think I want to do it in the, let's do it in the chipped sapphire. So we're pulling out more of the blue that we used in the background. So I'm going to ink up my Let It Snow with the same ink, and then I just want to tap, 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 tap right over the top, and that's looking pretty already. Let's do it a couple more times. And then after I get my ink the way that I want it, and the more you ink it and the more you stamp it, the kind of richer and darker it will get. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. So I'll put the lid on that and pull this up. And now I'm going to cover all of this in clear embossing powder. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to give this a little dip in the clear embossing powder tub that I have here. And then we'll heat up our heat tool again. Let's see. Oh, Lori's got good ideas here. I see making this sentiment, filling in the center with Santa, or popping up in the middle. Yes! You really could do anything in the center. Snowflakes, Santa, a little winter bird, lovely layers dove would be pretty in the center. The holiday bells that we had last year, that would be pretty in the little window. I mean, really, you could make a little window for anything and have your embossing folder on the outside. Okay. It makes a simple, what started out, you know, as a simple just frame, it steps it up a notch, just a hair, to make it look a lot fancier than, you know, if we had just kept it simple paper or just the plain paper or even ink blended paper. Okay, I'm going to tape this down here. And I'm going to pull it towards me and lean way over. So I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm going to make sure that this is really nicely lined up here. And that way. And then if you wanted to make that a birthday card, you know, if you had somebody that has a birthday in December or January, and you could put a happy birthday or even a winter wedding card. That would be really pretty. All right, so let's get that cut here, and we'll pop that out. There we go, just like that. And then I'm just going to simply add our little sentiment like right over the center, just like that. But I think I want to, you guys know me, how I like to add these little narrow foam strips. I love these for the back of my sentiments because they just kind of fit right down the center. And I'm going to tear off the excess because I can use that one later on. And let's peel the backer off. And then I like to use my tweezers here to kind of get everything, you know, exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to hold it up, and let's make sure we're all nice and straight here before we really give it a nice press. There we go. Get my little loop on my L popped up there. All right, and then that is a really fun card. How long did that take? 25 minutes. That is not long at all for a pretty fancy little snowflake card there. Let's see here. We love all of our friends. That card is, thank you, Missy. Thank you. Okay, so you all tell me in the comments how many of you have ordered one of our new embossing folders. We have the Snowy Pines and we have the Snowflake embossing folder. So tell me if you have that. Really pretty. And the last time I checked, our silver ink was back in stock. We did get it back in stock. I love how you did the inlay. Yes, that's what you call that. I was calling it inset or a layered frame. Yes, it's an inlaid frame. Let's see. Oh, some of you have that. I ordered the snowflake. I see a lot of you have gotten your snowflakes. Yes, I love this card. Thank you for showing. Oh, you're welcome, Bo. All right. Is that 5x7? Nope, it's an A2, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's a little one, but I like it. I was afraid that I was going to be cutting off too much of the snowflakes here, but I think it's really pretty how it turned out. Just like that with the little snowflake on the inside. All right. Thank you, Brenda. All right. Oh, somebody's getting their orders. Yay! Fun, fancy, eloquent. Thank you. All right. And some people have them on their wish list. Very cool. All right. You know what time it is? Lisa's going to give us our giveaway winner this evening. We always do a giveaway on Monday and Wednesday nights for some of our friends. And all you have to do to be entered in to win is just chat with us, make a comment, and then Lisa just randomly scrolls through. And our winner tonight is Tina Adams. You are the winner, Tina. So if you will email me, and let me pull it up here, Kelley, Kelley at honeybeestamps.com, I am going to hook you up with your gift card prize. So congratulations to Tina. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for tonight for this really, what ended up being a really quick but fancy looking card. All right, you guys, I'll be back on Wednesday night with another wintry, Christmassy card. So I hope you'll join me then, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Goodbye, friends.